Well, it's a big campaign issue this year. Americans with low-paying jobs spend about a third of their income on childcare. In some immigrant communities, parents are making an even greater sacrifice for childcare, sending their babies overseas until they're ready to begin school here in the U.S. Jericka Duncan has more on the so-called satellite babies.
How many children in this room are satellite babies?
At this elementary school in Queens, more than 60% of its summer students are known as satellite babies. Their children born in the United States sent away to live in their parents' home country. For several years, they are raised by relatives, in most cases grandparents. They return to the U.S. when they are school age. It's a common cultural trend in many Chinese immigrant communities.
And then she said, "Here's my mother," and I was confused.
We met 8-year-old twins Matthew and Rachel Kai and 9-year-old Jenny Zhao. They were sent to China as babies and came back when they were around 4 years old.
Do you understand why your parents sent you to China and then brought you back? You don't understand?
I understand because, my mom had to work.
Many parents of satellite babies send their children overseas in part to preserve their culture. But experts say the overwhelming force behind this exodus is the lack of affordable childcare.
No parent wants to give up their child, but it's a lot of sacrifices that immigrants have to make, to have a better life here.
Lois Lee is the director of the Chinese American Planning Council. It's a nonprofit which runs childcare programs that help satellite babies adjust to life in America.
It was difficult for the child because they haven't seen their parents.
Lee mentored Vicky Pan, now 16 years old.
I remember the first night when I went to my house in America with my parents, I realized that my grandparents are never gonna be here. I'm in a new place now, and I was crying and stuff. Even now, it's like that.
Are you upset because of the way they brought you back?
I feel like they know that if they told me straight up that I was going to my parents, I wouldn't have went because I don't know who they are.
24-year-old David Chen says his transition was so traumatic, he began having suicidal thoughts in the 3rd grade.
You're so closed off, you start thinking very depressed thoughts and very dark thoughts. And being bullied and you're suffering and, your parents don't understand that.
Now a medical student, Chen wants to share his story with other satellite babies so they understand they're not alone.
On the ride to our house, I realized that I didn't know where I was going. They were complete strangers, and I felt really, really scared.
Lee says experiences like Chen's are common and contribute to some behavioral problems.
There are a lot of angry people in America, and you don't want to add to the anger. You really want to, to lessen it.
One of those ways you're doing that is identifying these satellite babies.
Right. And why go through separation anxiety? So we really got to keep these families intact.
Jericka Duncan, CBS News, New York.